Ready to roll. Holy camole. Finally. Sorry, it's a little bit late today. Keep playing with a bunch of different stuff, trying to get everything right here. But anyways, sound check. Am I good? Audio cool? Happy Monday. Totally choppy, super choppy Monday. I think we've gone like absolutely nowhere. But let's take a look at this. Yeah, pretty much. I'm long Coinbase. She gapped up, filled the gap to the downside. Looking a little, we'll see. It's early. What's up, Frankie? I need that. I thought the t-shirt. Yeah, you want the t-shirt? Sure. We'll you know what, Vlad, we'll do some giveaways in the server. How's that? I have a store. Just got to get it like linked to the website. Frankie is in the house. Welcome everybody. By the way, this is kind of just like our regular Monday meeting. Coming from the corporate world, basically every Monday you have like this all hands on deck Monday morning kind of setup. I like to do this right around the lunch hour, right around this time, just because, the market gets a little funky. Sometimes on Mondays, people get really in the weeds on the early morning trades. But typically around this time, we get like some sideways choppy action and we can kind of get a little bit of a reversal. Edward wants to take a look at Amazon. Yeah, for sure. We can take a look at that. If you guys have tickers, that you want to take a look at towards the end of the stream, that's fine. Go ahead and drop them in the chat and we will take a look at them towards the end. I'm going to try and go a little bit faster today just to get through some of this stuff. I know, right? It needs to get its shit together. It might. The day is not over. The day is young. We'll say that for sure. We're at a very kind of like precarious spot. I think just in general, there is a good short, I think, is Google. We can take a look at that. Sorry. But let's get into it. All right. So is the stock market back? That's the question. So we got a 50 basis point rate cut last week. Let me change this a little bit. And the question is like, well, is it going to be a bearish setup from here? Is it a sell the news event? Or are we still bullish? But the graphic today is kind of like this little sleeping polar bear. I think the bears are still sleeping. They're out there. They might be in hibernation. Look, if they wanted to take it down, they've had more than their fair share of opportunities, but they have not so far. And we're coming up on this spot right now on the indices. But if you take a look at in general, like last week, the last couple of weeks, we've had this typical characteristics of, early morning pop and then fade and kind of like around that pre-market low, sometimes opening range low. It looks like it starts to breach just slightly. And then towards the afternoon, it gets bought back up towards the highs. And then we pop again in the morning. And honestly, I'm not seeing anything completely different so far. The Russell, which is the big one for the rate cuts, right? The Russell had been stronger last week than the rest of it, but we're not like making new highs just yet. So we'll take a look at that across the board. Yes, Trim, we could take a look at Nvidia too, for sure. I think it's still kind of stuck, but we'll take a look. Coinbase, though, is in the most interesting spot of them all to me still. Right here, right now. Please look at the wolf chart. Is that the Kevin? It's like a small cap. We'll take a look. WOLF. As long as you spelled it right, we'll take a look. All right, promise. All right, so let's get into it. So recap, I think last week was kind of interesting data, right? So we have retail sales, building and housing stats, basically, and then initial jobless claims. I think these are the main things that we want to really look at moving forward. Inflation, to me, is pretty much a non-event. And, moving forward, I think from the FOMC kind of meeting, what I really got was like, look, Powell, this is just me. Powell does not think that consumer spending and just the consumer overall is going to create more inflation. And I think that's really the biggest thing, right? So if rates come down and PCE, the spending, right, is high, do you spur like this secondary wave of inflation from the consumer spending more? And we are coming into the holiday season, so we'll see what that looks like. But that kind of puts retail sales a bit of a focus, right? So last week, retail sales consensus, so what was priced into the market is in the parentheses, 2.2%. I think this is a month-over-month number, and we came in at 2.1 versus 2.9 prior. So net so far, 1 week of data, 1 month of data, Powell looks like he's right on that. And then the other piece, in terms of why 50 basis points, I think it's really, they mentioned the housing sector, and that honestly, the housing sector, that's where the inflation really is. So watching things like building permits, housing starts, things like that, that's going to kind of come into focus. And last week, honestly, we had a major move. So these are the month over month numbers, but I've never seen numbers like this. I think this was some builders kind of anticipating the rate cuts, and so like starting off early. So if this trend continues, these kind of numbers, that's going to be crazy, right? So we're coming off from a building permits perspective, negative 3.3% month over month. The prior month consensus was at 1.1. We came in at 4.9. That's massive. And the housing starts similar, came in against a negative 6.9 prior with an estimate or consensus at 3.2. We landed at 9.6 from a housing standpoint perspective. So the question is, do lower rates create more supply in the housing market and therefore lower the prices? Or are more buyers coming in and supply stays constrained? That's really what we want to look at. And so, but if we've seen building permits and housing starts actually go up, well, I think that's a bit of we can look at, new mortgages, things like that. So far, it just looks like the builders starting to move. So maybe, just maybe, supply will come back into the housing market, and maybe, just maybe, you guys might get a chance to buy a house soon, because it hasn't really made a whole lot of sense, at least in my area. Rent has never, I can't remember the last time rent was equivalent to buying or anywhere close to that. So, it's at least in San Jose, in Silicon Valley, it's a funky situation for sure. But we'll just keep that on watch for now. In terms of the labor market, that was kind of like the focus. So he's talking about recalibrating, and he said it a bunch of times, like recalibrating their focus from away from inflation to the labor market. So the jobless claims number start to be really more in focus, right? So from here, it's going to be housing numbers, housing stats, which we'll get later this week, and then initial jobless claims. So jobless claims, we came in last week at 219,000. Honestly, that can tick up. That's fine, as long as it's not over. What is it? In NYC, I can afford a cubicle 4x4. Yeah, dude, I believe it. Yeah, and Frankie's saying housing is tight still in the Northeast. I think this is the biggest thing, right? So if supply remains constrained, that housing stuff is not gonna, it's not gonna come down really. And if interest rates just get lowered and supply does not loosen up, well, there might just be more demand and still the same supply. That might be even worse. So that's kind of that's like my personal concern. If you're looking for something like that. Yeah, some places, and I am seeing this, right? So is growing, prices down 15%. So some places, and I think, to Frankie's point. So Frankie's saying, so Northeast tight, right? California tight, right? So Florida though, loose. And I think generally the Rockies, the Bible Belt, that whole area, that's where if we start to see some supply really enter the market, it's probably going to be in those areas first before it reaches any of the major metropolitan areas. That's just my gut, at least. There were some concerns about Bank of Japan. I'll just give you guys a quick update. They did not change the rates. BOJ rate stays unchanged. Yield curve control, YCC, is still there. It's at 0.25%. So 0.25% on Bank of Japan rates. Frankie, time to move to Florida. So that's the question, right? Is it time now, or do you wait till the like easing cycle is done or towards the end, and then you move when the prices have started to bottom? Because if you're a cash buyer, and before it was just cash buyers, like cash buyers ruled, at least around here. And now if rates come down a little bit, well, that may start to change. And potentially if prices go down, well, maybe we should wait a little bit. I don't know. Right. And that's kind of like the, well, look, wait and see kind of mode. Builders in Colorado discounted heavily on their ready to move homes. Yes. So that's the area, right? And I think, in those kind of Midwest, Rockies, Bible Belt type area, I feel like that's where the housing market has been most constrained. Because, in the large cities, we're always constrained. It's not a big deal. But, those are just, again, things to watch. We want to see what the trend looks like, right? Other notable headlines and possible things to come this week. So Apollo Group to offer a multi-billion-dollar investment in Intel. Intel had a nice little pop in the pre and 24-hour markets last night. 2250. She's holding on, actually. She's holding on to these gains. This is an interesting one. I mean, if there was ever, and I think it was on CNBC, and I briefly saw it, like if there was ever a time to just say YOLO equity into Intel, I feel like it's like, fine, go for it. Because it's to me, it's de-risked and trading at a pretty substantial discount, price to book discount. But I'll be straight, like this could take a really long time to turn around. They have not done anything really right yet, but the news wires are starting to turn around slightly for them. So, I mean, keep it on watch. I think you could have a speculative equity position, not options, because you never know. I mean, unless you're like options leaps, and if they do get purchased, let's say by Qualcomm or whoever, I think at that point correct me if I'm wrong, you might get options in the combined entity later. So there's that. But if you do have leap options on something like an Intel, I will say, once that news kind of hits, you're probably better off just to sell your options in that. Does not invest unless they get a pound of flesh. Hey, that this is true, but I think Frankie says fade, immediately fade. Who knows? It could be dead money for like a decade. It's technically been dead money for a decade anyway. So I guess, it is what it is. But, stocks make the biggest moves when they go from absolute crap to just okay. And Intel's pretty close to that. I mean, really close to that. If they do, then Intel wants the money. Yeah. And Intel still, they haven't sold. I believe they haven't sold their Mobileye stake. So there's some levers that Intel can still pull. Another one that was just like completely beaten down that I bought some speculative stuff on, Rivian. I had to do it, man. Rivian opening 1160 today. Had to do it. Why not? That's my bottom of the barrel kind of buy. My last buy, my average was like 1050, but it'd come into this spot. I bought a little bit earlier, higher, sold that, and I just looked at it this morning. I was like, oh god, 1160, pretty crucial level. And then, so there are a couple articles. So the Fed rate cuts will put money into pockets, but a mood shift may take time. That's from Reuters this morning or this weekend, I believe. So I think that's really the thing. It's going to take time. And why the picture today was like the sleeping bears is because I think there are still sleeping bears out there. I was on some spaces last week and I was listening to these guys. There was one guy who was talking. I felt like he was fear mongering, and I didn't want to say anything, but he was like, "Look, enjoy the daily rally while you can, because there are like walkie talkies blowing up, this, that, and then." I'm like, "Whoa, what is this guy talking about?" And it turns out like the legit like walkie talkies were like hacked or something, and like probably battery packs or whatever blew up in the Middle East. But dude, I'll just say that that is always happening. Like that Middle East conflict. Can you remember a time when we didn't Um, when we didn't have that, I think we underestimated IBM, man. I can't even with IBM. Is it all time high? I'm probably guessing 220. Yeah, I'll tell you this. True story. Before I left the enterprise, the company I was working with was acquired by the number one IBM reseller in the country, and we're selling enterprise in Silicon Valley. I'm like, what do you like? What? And they wanted us to push IBM. I'm like, they bought Red Hat. This was like IBM to me was like, okay, these are where good companies go to die. But the stock market doesn't understand IBM the way that I do it in terms of enterprise technology. The stock market, I think the gist has been IBM's been left for dead forever, and it's finally got a turnaround story. So fine, right? There is a new CEO or leadership there. Fine, let it do its thing. I've taken multiple shots on this. Some win, some don't. But the chart is not bearish. I have to give it that. All-time highs, the chart is not bearish. So there's that, right? So yeah, possibly underestimating IBM. Look, man, you guys want to be long IBM, go for it. But maybe it's a big miss on my end. But I just can't do it, man. I cannot do it. When Donnie was in there, DJT, only peaceful president. Oh God. Let's see. What are you guys talking about? U.S. sending more troops today? Is that true? Did you see the meme of Kamala live on the debate where like she says there's no troops deployed in active military zones, and then there's like this TikTok or whatever like active military troops will be like, where are we then? I'm like, oh my God, hilarious. I was living in Saudi in 91. Ooh, yeah. But the thing is, it's always there, right? It's always a thing. So it's just something that we live with for sure. 2017, 18, 19. Yeah, that's IBM. No chance I'm with you. Hey, look, man, if you're from the Valley, then you probably have a similar take. But, Wall Street people, they're not from the Valley. They don't know. But maybe they hold it up. They're holding it up. They're holding up. Earnings junkie. Let's talk coin. We will talk coin for sure. It's struggling right now, no question. But it's the second shot crossing this 20-day simple moving average. Look, I have some short dated contracts on right now. We'll go through like swing setups and what that looks like. So to me, as long as it's closing, and I know it's not over right now, closing over it's on 170. If Coinbase closes over 170 for the third time, I think I'm happy, right? And I want to keep my shot available and open. But session got filled to the downside this morning so far, rejected again at the 20-day simple moving average. I'm just saying, I believe this thing's going to break sooner than later. If it doesn't, though, we're probably looking at like 165s or so for a pullback, and I'll have to exit stage left near term. We'll see, but I don't think there's a lot of downside. So different ways to play it. I have both. I have Con L and I have some options, and I have equity, of course, but we'll see. And we will. I think Adobe. And then, yeah, Frankie says, yep, troops are deployed. I'm in the Space Force, and most of us can't stand that lady. You know what? Congrats to you, Ernie. I've never met anybody in the Space Force before, so I feel like that's way cool, man. That's way cool. I would like to be able to say I have like IRL friends in the Space Force, but that would be, so come over, we'll grab lunch or something. Yeah, geopolitical situation. I hope I'm wrong. It kind of always feels different, right? Like you can be what was, butt buckers as long LMT. So what's true is that the stock market is not bearish right now. All-time highs are not bearish. Let's just put that aside. If this was a real thing, like we're going to go into a bear market, we wouldn't be where we are necessarily, and we'll know before it happens, and we can flip a switch pretty quickly. But there are places to hide if you are really concerned about that stuff. Do they shake Tesla? Is it 248 rip after next week's delivery numbers and robotaxi? This right here now is the robotaxi, and we talked about this. I posted on the X feed. This here now is the Tesla pre-run to the robotaxi event. Space Force, hell yeah, I agree. Hell yeah, that's fucking badass. Sorry. So Dell, Palantir, and the other one, Erie, enter the S&P 500 today. I don't think we're going to see a whole lot of change on the stock prices just yet, or in general. You can remember crowd. Yeah, Dell's pretty much flat. Palantir, I saw, Palantir. Ooh, Palantir, what? Whoa, 37, 38 bucks. So this was a tradable event clearly on Palantir. Because maybe people just didn't believe they were going in. I do want to talk software today also, like the software sector. So Palantir, if you don't know, I'm sorry, I'm looking on another screen. Palantir is in the ETF that Palantir sits in pre S&P 500 was the IGV. And I've been taking some decent shots at Salesforce long. They're in the middle of Dreamforce. I think that sector, here's the thing, if it's not IWM, we can look at the IGV as a software sector. That's the software sector ETF. And that's actually looking pretty constructive. So we might want to dive into that. You guys, Snowflake, the Winter Soldier, Bucky, still frozen in the battlefield, getting eaten by the bears. Yeah. So I won't, I will agree with that. But there are other areas that maybe it was beepers, walkie-talkies, Middle East affect AI hardware super cycle. No, I don't think so. But I mean, I just personally don't. And yeah, we'll cover some earnings, things like that. So there's a couple to get on deck. And by the way, Meta this week. I haven't checked the charts today. We should take a look. By the way, so I'm gonna drop in the chat Meta, just so I remember. So there is a Connect event on Wednesday. So I want to pull that up. I haven't seen what the keynotes are and things like that. So there's a tradable event for Meta on Wednesday. Do you guys remember when Meta was dumping and it was just having so much like stutter steps, and then Meta, they had some event and it was the funniest thing. Like their whole event was delayed because they couldn't get the Zoom or whatever up on time or accurately, and then it like dumped, and then it finally started. Maybe we get an opportunity like that. Who knows? We'll see. In terms of the rest, so on the economic calendar perspective, so today we have, actually this whole week, we have a bunch of Fed speakers just kind of like lined up. We even have Powell on Thursday. So just as an aside, Jay Powell on Thursday, Bostic Kashkari came out today. Who else do we have? So Tuesday, I'm just looking at this Tuesday. Consumer confidence, nobody really talking. And Wednesday we're clear, right? So, okay, so Tuesday, tomorrow, just pretty much the 2-year note auction. I'm interested to see if these note auctions still carry the same kind of weight that they did before. My gut is probably not. Housing starts and stats, we just talked about earlier. I think that's going to be kind of a little bit of a highlight. We have to see what the trend looks like. So it's way too early to say there's any kind of trend. It could have just been the home builders like front running that interest rate decision. And so maybe they just stall out and we go back to negative. Who knows? We'll probably be negative actually next week or this week. And then Thursday. So Thursday, we start off with actual data. Thursday, we get GDP Q2 final. It's the third look, final look. We probably won't be a huge one, but it is locked in. Jobless claims number has been moving the market. I think that continues to move the market, or at least set a tone for the market. And then Jay Powell, I think, has some predefined speech notes on Thursday. And then Friday is the big number of the day of the week. That's PCE, personal consumption expenditures. That's actually what the consumer is spending. And I think that's, if the bears are waiting in the wind, and they're hibernating right now. They're waiting for this PCE. There was some commentary around like why 50 basis points now, and maybe potentially because there's a lot of data between now and the next Fed meeting. Let's see, when is the next Fed meeting? CBOE watch tool, Fed watch. I believe it's actually a lot. I think it's a lot further out in time than we think. So the next Fed meeting, oh yeah, November 7th. So October, we do not have a Fed meeting, or interest rate decision is not until November, and then December. And a lot of people are saying they might skip November. A lot of people think that the Fed might skip November because that's going to land squarely in the middle of the election. So we will see. What I did grab a little infographic. This is from a Wall Street Journal article. Frankie can tell you. Oh yeah, November 7th. Frankie can tell you, since he subscribes to all these magazines. Wall Street Journal put out an article. Here's what happens to markets. Here you go. When the Fed, when interest rates fall. And so it's kind of interesting. This is a 1-year performance. And if you zoom in, it's like, okay, interest rate cut. And a lot of these, they always think, is it sell the news? I don't know, but it's like a little dip, but net, you're green, right? A little dip. So this is, these are recessions. I don't know what this is. Oh, and this is the bottom here. This is the S&P 500. So interest rate cut, looks like a bounce, cut, bounce, cut, bounce. So of these, they've got 7 examples. It looks like it's green on 5 of them. So this is sell, this is sell. Fed funds rate following the first series of rate cuts. We can drill in a little bit more, but I think that's, I don't have a subscription. But this chart looks actually pretty decent. So rate cut plus recession, bad market. Rate cut plus no recession. Yeah, I think that's about right. So the question is, do we have recession? Honestly, I just don't think that we're going to have a recession. That's just me. But maybe I'm wrong. Who knows? And so let's get into this. So this week, all earnings on deck. Micron after the close on Wednesday. So if you're trading Micron, I know it had a little bit of a bounce. Just going to take a look really quick. MU, it ends and it's not clear. Like, it's over the 20-day today. I'd have to pull up the options chain. My gut is that these are going to be crazy expensive. So just be really cautious. Yeah, pretty expensive. What is that? Implied move right now looks like about just over $9. So a 10% implied move. That's expensive. At least for the option expiring this week. Well, you can go out a little bit. Doesn't look like the IV is balanced around November. So if you go out to November, then it's not so bad in terms of like IV percentile. Net, the underlying is not horrible, but the option market definitely pricing in a lot of movement for the next 3 weeks for sure. So, but definitely a lot. 10% implied move by Friday. That's you never know, right? This is Micron. That comment from that CEO, we're sold out until 2025. I swear that's going to go down in history as like one of the absolute worst comments to make like ever. So, sell to open 260. Yeah, I think you probably could. Wait a second. Recession is coming. Oh, winter is coming. Sure. Who knows? You never know, man. I don't know. We don't have any data that says recession is coming. It's all like conjecture. So all the recession talk is conjecture. It's like they're just assuming that recession is coming. So there is one. I did start a position in this company, Accenture, ACN, just recently. I haven't even looked at it. It's about where I started buying. This guy got hit recently on like headlines of an acquisition, came down to his 50-day. Accenture, by the way, if you're not familiar with them, ticker is ACN. They do a lot of what we call like transient skills. Transient as in like you're moving around a lot. It's not required full-time forever, temporary. And what they do, they are in the Valley, they're like the go-to staffing firm. So if you did want to buy or build, if you wanted to build like an AI platform or application, I honestly, I'm pretty positive Accenture near term is going to benefit from a lot of that stuff until people get their applications built, and they need full-time employees to like manage infrastructure and applications. So Accenture is typically the breeding ground for a lot of Silicon Valley talent. And I don't think that's changing anytime soon. So if you were a company looking to get into some new technology, Accenture is typically the place to go. And I think that they will remain the place to go. And then we got, what is that? Costco. Costco on Friday or Thursday after the close, trading with this like 50 PE or whatever it is. We'll see. It is true. Like if it does sell off, it typically gets bought up. Oh, if you don't know what this is, TD SYNNEX, that's Tech Data SYNNEX combined. They are, so for infrastructure, let's say you want to buy Supermicro or Dell servers. Actually Dell servers, really. I don't remember if Supermicro was direct or not. I don't think so. You go through a distributor. And so what Tech Data SYNNEX is, that's a combined entity of two of the largest IT infrastructure distributors. So even like your reseller, the way it works is that let's say you're Uber, right? And you wanted to buy servers from, Paper Gains, whatever IT consulting company. I would go build the bill of materials, like scope out the bill of materials, put the labor together, blah, blah, blah. Then I would go to Tech Data or SYNNEX and I would go buy it from them at a heavily discounted rate. And then I would sell it. Then I would add my margin. Then I would sell it to Uber or to whoever. So Tech Data, TD SYNNEX, SNX is actually like it's a distribution. So it's the supply chain distribution. Look at that chart. That's not bearish either. But distribution, they don't make a whole lot of money. It's very low margins because most of it's passed on. But revenue wise, they capture a lot of the top line. It's really low margins for them, like single digit margin. But just as a side, if you don't know what they are, that's what they are. So, no, JB, I'm not talking recession. No, Intel is going to be bought out. So that's the speculation. Does Intel get bought out? I don't know, right? They need to do something. They need to pull some cash levers, and like whatever they can do, it might get bought out. But look, hey, what if they get bought out at a lower price than it's trading for right now? We'll see, right? Crowd for sure. Yeah, crowd was good. Nice. But Intel, so far it's holding, right? You got like a little bit of a double-ish top. We'll see what happens. If it's a third that doesn't fail, I don't usually take the shot on the third attempt just because it's the fourth to me that actually goes through. But I think, you know what? I think Miss Cleo is in the house. So yeah, let's give her a call, see what she's got on deck for us today, guys. All right. So we got a big week. This theme card, and this is the tarot reading for comedic effect, right? This is the theme card for the week. It's not usually the greatest, but I think it's like choppy. Then we have the devil, which I have learned so far that the devil is not a bearish card. And I believe I've learned that the hermit is not really a bearish card either. And then she's saying, what is this? Wednesday, hanged man. Honestly, this is funny. The hanged man usually turns out to be like a hanging man candle too. It's weird. Empress, and then the 5 of swords, which I don't remember seeing. So a lot of, what do they call it? Oop, not that. Uh-oh. Wrong. Oh no. Go back. Where did my slide go? Slide from. All right. A lot of these, what do they call? Arcana. So let's get into it. All right, so theme card is the Three of Swords. This is the one. Is it? This is one of the weakest macro. Wait. Where did I go? Okay, Austin. This is one of the weakest weeks of the third quarter. Yeah, it can be. Three of Swords. The last week's theme was a 2. Now we're moving 2 to 3, which is as close of a continuation sign as we can get. True. Card also skews positively. There it is, as a theme card. Someone's heart will be broken. Is it the Bears or is it the Bulls? We don't know. It could be everybody's and we go sideways. Is it intent on shorting the top or Bulls going long at the top? Yeah. Swords just tend to cut and chop both sides to pieces. So expect tests of major levels and some nasty swings. I don't like that, but it is what it is. So Monday, the Devil, Major Arcana last Monday gave us some selling spurts that ultimately got bought back and took us higher. This week, the Devil has a chance to flex his muscles. Not really so far. Actually, I haven't really looked at it yet. You guys tell me. Does he bind us in chains and force the market into stagnation, or does he invoke a merciless trend day? Well, so far, it's not a trend day. That's for sure. He skews bullish historically. Even when red, he's barely so. I think we can buy dips here and be ready to cut any short-term positions if chop becomes the flavor of the day. Well, chop was the flavor of the day. Tuesday is the Three of... Oh, where's my Tuesday? Oh, Tuesday lower. The Hermit. All right, so the Hermit is a little bit different. So back-to-back majors are kickstarting the week with some big energy. Hermit is almost always positive. Interesting. Sometimes inspiring a euphoric rally. You wouldn't have thought that was the Hermit card, but apparently that's what it is. However, his message says not to chase and stay away. Today is a day to watch and reflect, or if you're already long, take profits. You'll want to chase a trade, but you should not. The worst case is probably flat to negative chop. That sounds more like a Hermit, but we'll see. Right. Wednesday was the Hanged Man. That's right. So what is our back-to-back majors show that the market isn't playing around this week. Card is very similar to the others. It tells us that we're taking a voluntary step back so that we can move forward in the future. In other words, expect a bit of a stall. This card is usually negative, and the best case is a positive chop. So unlike yesterday, which was the Hermit, sell rallies on Wednesday for the day and look for setups, but don't chase. All right. Nothing crazy. Thursday, so if it's a like doji flat candle on Wednesday, this would be the setup day. So Thursday is the Empress. Not much to say. Okay, well, this is not a setup. Then the fact that 4 major Arcana cards in a row, almost unheard of. I don't think I've ever seen it, at least as it relates to weekly readings. The Empress brings fertility and material abundance. That sounds positive, right? Fertility and material abundance, which are positive things for the future. This is Jay Powell Day. Jay Powell has his speech this day. This is GDP, and then something else. And jobless claims. So, however, her short-term energy is similar to what we've seen for the rest of the week, aka chop. I'm not expecting much here other than rallies to be sold and dips to be bought. Maybe it's a day to sell options instead of buying. I don't know. Miss Cleo, it sounds like that's a trend day to me, but if you're saying you don't think so, well, there it is. Friday, finally the streak is broken and we get something other than a major. Unfortunately, this one doesn't play very nice. It sets a trap and then punishes the victims. Whoa! We see mean reversion 90% of the time when drawing the 5 of Swords. So it sounds like the middle of the week has been setting up a decent move close to the to close the week on Friday. Okay. This card is also capable of setting multiple smaller traps. So this sounds really like a shit day to trade. So don't get comfy with any positions in playing short term. Set decent stops so you can keep profits locked in. Look for a close plus or minus 1% unless the prior day was flat, in which case we may see more of the same. So there you have it. I mean, that sounds like a choppy week to me. At least that's what Miss Cleo's expecting. Recap: looks like we spend most of the week setting up a move rather than making them. Yeah, that's gonna suck for Coinbase. Yeah, she's setting up a move, not really making it. My cons are not for this week, but just the same. It's not. It's gonna be lame. We have mostly positive cards that say good things about the future, but our theme says hearts are going to be broken. Maybe the chop does it, but Friday should be a solid day. I didn't hear that Friday should be a solid day. Okay, so she likes Friday. I don't know. At least, possible gap in reverse Friday. Who knows? Whatever. She's thinking trend day Friday. Thursday sounded like a trend day to me. Maybe it's like up, down. Who knows? Yeah, today is very choppy. And yeah, I think this is like it's going down to Thursday. Powell will send it one way or the other, and then we'll see if the market actually believes her. But that's it for now. Let's go ahead and take a look at the the major view. So this is my first look pretty much every day. SPY, Qs, diamonds. IWM has been lagging today. Look at Palantir go. Oh my God, this thing's about to be. Oh, it's 38. Palantir 38. Holy, that's crazy. Palantir 38. Good God, he's going for. I don't even know what he's going for. That's crazy. Anyways, Qs, and I think this is the general setup. SPY, Qs, diamonds all look very similar. They look like they could fall out of bed here, but the bears have not taken this bait. So that's why I'm like, well, if they can't push it down, what do we know? If they can't go lower, guys, it's got to go where? Higher. So this is a setup where the bears have full reign to go crazy. They filled the downside gap. So by the way, we had this is last week, and this orange box, this is an average weeks range. So from the open, I'll just take this, an average week's range to the upside on SPY is 580. And then to the downside, if that's the high of the week, that session gap, then we would just retest that 560. So that's an average week's range. But this is funny, right? We're just completely trapped here, right here. So this is a session gap from Wednesday into Thursday filled on Friday. And we had gapped up Wednesday, then we gapped down Thursday. Today we filled the gap down, and so we're like stuck, right? So we're totally stuck right in between these two things. Let's do this. Let's just do what I can see clearly is that there's like this kind of pivot, right? So if I just took, let me see if I have the right tool somewhere, fixed range of or is this Friday? Of Friday's price action, that gives us this level right here. That's the point of control from Friday, and that's exactly what we're sitting on right now. So that's 568 for SPY or the SPOOs, and as long as that holds, which looks like it is right now, we should have continuation, or at least we're going to hold, right? If I want a little bit more confluence from this low, let's say to this high, that's a 50%. Yeah, I mean, it's not anything crazy. I don't usually do these 382s and what have you. Yeah, so this is 382, and I don't do the twos on the fibs, but 382, 38% pullback here. As long as it holds there, that's constructive. But inside this little box right here, guys, it's kind of like a no touch to me. So we could be setting up. Look, it's going to be long. If we're over 572, then we're going 580, right? Like that to me, we're clear. We're in the clear. And then other than that, this looks like a lot of exhaustion. So if we set up a higher low again, that's basically what we're doing. So higher low right there. This could be chop. I don't know that it's going to trend just yet. And even then, when you get over to this, you have this 570 kind of area. So what I would say is on SPY or futures or whatever you're looking at, this is essentially the 568, the level that you'd like to see it defend. It can pull back to 566. That'd be a really nice retracement if we do get it. But until then, there's this little, what we call fair value, 572.45. I would keep that as a short-term upside target as long as we hold here. or if we're breaking, sorry, over 570. So I would take like this box as a trade in here, there. Otherwise, if you're in a trade right now, even this, you have to be concerned that you might stall right towards the top, right around 569, just under 570. So this looks decent for a bounce, but just careful when you get to that 569 and change level, just under 570. That's SPY. Qs are super similar, right? So a little bit. So this orange box is an average week's range. Let's go ahead and take this from the bottom of today. So an average week's range to the upside is, whoa, 500. Do we make a run for 500 on the Qs? Hard to say, right? But, zoom out, look left, and we're pretty much right where we've stalled out in the past. So this is why we're pretty clean order blocks right here, 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 here. It's been resistance here and here. We got a slight double top. I'd be kind of cautious. And we did we not fill this downside gap on the Qs? Yeah, we have not filled this downside yet, session gap on the Qs just yet. So 475, if you get a dip there, probably good, but you're in a very strong kind of like consolidation range all the way across, which is going to take you to more or less that order block. So as long as I'd say 475 is better opportunity on the Qs right around this area. It looks like we just barely retested yesterday, or what is this, Wednesday's high a couple times, once yesterday or Friday, once in the pre today, but we're not exactly breaking through, and it's a little bit of a lower high. So if it's a lower high, then we get a higher low, then we are firmly in the chop. So from a downside perspective, all the way down could take us down to 465s, which that's right in here, 465. That's this whole order block over there. Let me see what these NFP levels are. Yeah. So these are, if we can't get over, so this is 490 upside into this. If we get into 490, 496, that is that, basically here, if we're breaking over, what is this, Friday's high? No, Thursday's high on the Qs, then we should go to 496.60 and fill this upside session gap. There's a big one right here on the Qs, 496.50, 495.50, sorry. And then that's your full, to me, I would cut this weekly range short. I take it from there. Downside could get ugly, man. Downside is, that's that NFP low or June NFP high, 465.75. So that makes sense on both sides here. So, but we're stuck in this box. So I'd let it chill. Big trades, not until we get through out of each one of these. All right, so that's Qs. Diamonds is gonna be similar. IWM, this just did fill this downside session gap, so somewhat constructive. I don't want to see it go any lower though. I do have some hedges on my IWM. I'm not taking them off. It's not through this order block here yet, so it's got some room to make up for. If it falls, then it could be a rough one. So 215s probably going to be more in order if that does happen. So, and that would be testing this 20 and 50 day. So if you don't have it and you're looking for like a place to take a shot, it's somewhere in here, 213s and maybe a little bit lower. I really don't, I hope to God we don't ever get back to this 205 area, but if that fails, then that's where we go. And then, so dollar still kind of red on the year. Bitcoin was looking really interesting this weekend. Made a nice little push, didn't hold it, but it's holding this consolidation. So honestly, for Coinbase too, I want to see Bitcoin really consolidate here and then make another leg. This has been moving randomly midweek. So like Tuesdays, I do get a Miss Cleo thing for crypto also. Let me see what was it for crypto, she said. So crypto reading. Oh yeah, 10 of Pentacles. Whoa. Uh, tells me we have a series 8 to 10 as we've been rallying. Indicate rally continues. Short-term trend. All right. It looks good for crypto. Making a completion. We're working on completion this week with lots of moves in both directions. Ton of impulsivity. I don't know. Tough. She's always like that. She's like so indecisive. But for Bitcoin, look, as long as it's holding 62, whatever this level is, 62.7 here, this is constructive. This area. So Bitcoin's got to hold these lows. This recent low, 62.3, 62.350. As long as it's over that, we should be good. And gold, man. Oh my God. Another all-time high. This is just wild. Non-stop. All right, guys, let's get into your picks. And let me open up a quick, I'll give you one first that I was looking at. So Google, this was a daily view on Google. I was thinking short. We got a bit of an exhaustion level here. 164, 164, basically. If it's over 164, she's going up. But I was looking, if she gets anywhere lower, really, and she starts to get below 162, then I think you get to that 155. That could be a weekly swing. It's like scalpy right now, so I'm not taking it. The market's generally scalpy, but if you get a close below 162.50, I think this one actually does look decent for a short setup, but not quite yet. So we want to be super cautious that holds. If you zoom in a little bit, this is hourly, so this is basically rejecting a 50-day, and that takes you slightly below your 20 and 60-day. And I'd be targeting to the downside, or if you want to get long, I'd be targeting this 156-ish area. I do think that she's probably done with the big like down skis, and so that's probably going to look like this, to be completely fair. So if you want to be short, short-term short, not for a long time, just a good time, and pick it up somewhere around 155s. That's going to set up pretty nice for a pretty decent bounce, I think. Unless she just goes and she's over the 50-day, which she's not so far, but I think that's what you're going to run into. You kind of play this little simple moving average ping pong, targeting that 156 to the downside, which is, from an options perspective, pretty decent little trade. So if we get a fail somewhere around 163.50s, that's what that would look like on this one. You guys are spamming my shit. Get out of here. Let's see. I'll go through the charts. What else was there? Oh, we want to see Meta. So I got some requests earlier. So let's see, all the way up. So Edward was asking on Amazon first. So, Amazon, 145 was kind of like this pickup level here. We're well on its way. To me, this is really close to that 200 level, which we know that Bezos is sitting in the wind waiting for. Daily, it's like these are smaller daily candles here. It's October, late October. You have a little fair value on the daily perspective up to 197.96, so just under 198. I think you can get there, but you're really close, like $5 away. You're really close to. You never know, right? When is Bezos going to start stepping in again? I don't think he's going to start stepping in until 200, but the traders, the market might start stepping in before Bezos has the chance to, so it could get kind of choppy up here. That's honestly, so I'd pick this one up on dips as long as it's holding 190, 188. That was a pretty big level for this to break through. You can see it on this one, and that is right there. So 191 is the next one. 188 and change was that way prior all-time high from over here. And you're just getting into this fair value. So this is why I'd say I'm probably gonna not do any major swings on this, just because it's really close. You just fill the session gap. To be, it's like this is that 197 area that we were looking at a little bit ago. And is that a real session gap? Could be session gap here. This is one I wouldn't. Yeah, you fill this small session gap. I don't I don't really like this on breakouts. I like it more like retests right now. So the retest would be that 188s, if that makes sense. But we'll see. I think this gets pretty choppy, to be fair. You're right up there. Long term, though, it's probably good. Coingate, let's take a look. Yeah. All right. So Coinbase had a little bit of a gap up this morning, filled the gap so far. As long as she closes over this 170, this is that session gap, I think it's okay. I'm not going to reverse the session gap like immediately, like right now. No. I'm going to zoom out just a little bit here. And so just so you can see, and what I'm going to do, I'm going to turn this into a horizontal level. So 168.93. And even on a weekly perspective, so last week's close 170 or high 175. For sure, if we're over 175, we're just going upside. I want to be somewhat cautious here, but this 168 level, that's going to line me up right here, and really like the top of this kind of flag. But what could be bear flag, but we'll see. TBD. What kind of flag? Could be reversal. If it gets under that 168, it's not going to be fun, right? And we're likely, when I said 165, I might have been a little shy on that. It was this 161 when we were holding 161 here. 161 to 175. I'm going to zoom out. So this is that same level, 169, 170. I'm going to grab it, just this top. That's 187s. And this takes us over here, right? And now we're like very, very wide view on Coinbase. So in here, I think this is the box that Coinbase is in. And it's really, to me, I'm looking at this as, as long as it can hold up over, which, if you're day trading, what I'm looking for, and here's why I'm looking at a daily scale. If I'm day trading, I'm looking for 3 candles to close above a certain level, and then I think we're good to go, right? And so if you're swing trading, I'm looking for 3 candles to close above a certain level, then I'm good to go. That certain level, and that's a daily candle. So right now I have 1, 2, 3 daily candles closing over 168.90, 169. So this looks constructive. If we close below that level today, I'm going to be pretty bummed. I might close it. I don't know, because then I would be more like at risk of this turning into a bear flag and possibly coming down here and doing something like that. Who knows? But right now, so far, this is looking like 1, 2, 3 candles closing above. And so that's why when I set out a note in the server, the next 2, so after this day, it was about the next 2 trading sessions, which were Friday and today. If today closes over 169, that's my 3rd close over. My gut is that the following candle is going to look like this. And I don't want to miss that. So this is really a hard one to day trade, especially if it does like some kind of gap setup, which it does tend to do. And right now, look, this is how close we are, right? So this is the second official close over. This is a break above, close below, open at, close over, open above, close above. I still like it. So that's why I like it. That's why I'm like, okay, I'm in. This is my highest risk, also highest reward, but it is the highest risk. And so here, this fair value below, if it gets close to closing below, I might think about opening a hedge on like 160 puts for the Friday. That's the only thing I'm really thinking. I'm not thinking about closing my couple week calls just yet. Not unless if we get a close below that 169, okay, I'll probably open a hedge. But I'll keep the other ones open, to be completely honest. But for right now, look, we're holding this level. I know the session gap is filled. It's setting up. So I mean, you don't have to be in it. This is a bit anticipatory. I'm anticipating a move. Quite frankly, that's not happening yet. So that's the problem that I have with the near term options. But yeah, 3 days close above it. It's bullish, and we should hold. But tomorrow will be game day, or the closing today, and ultimately tomorrow. So, anyways, that's Coinbase for you right there. And then if it does, like that 160 put, if it does fail, is going to be probably well in the money. So, yeah, it would have to be a trim at like 161. And if that fails, 161 fails, then you're going probably into these 130s, which would be either way. It's a decent move, but yeah, this is setting up one way or the other. It's almost setting up for like a decent like straddle, like grab both daily and then Thursday, late October. But this is like the Bitcoin seasonality. Look, it's getting cold out here. Winter is coming. Crypto likes the winter. So I like me some crypto, or some crypto proxies. Quite frankly, I did take a YOLO on some crypto proxies too. But we'll see. Next one was Nvidia. Oh yeah, so this is firmly still consolidation. So I don't think you need to do anything on Nvidia. I don't think this isn't really like a I need to go long spot either. I think a better go long spot is if you fill this area right in here, really like around this 110 type area. This is a no touch zone for me. Absolutely no touch. Lower high, higher low, lower high. Yeah, you're making a series of lower highs and higher lows. This is not going anywhere. This is firmly in consolidation. If you see a little breach down here and then a reclaim, that's what I'm talking about. You could take a trade and just to that 123, and that's it, because this is going into consolidation, and then you'll find out what happens later, which could be way later. You never know. But this is not going anywhere, boys and girls. Not until you get closer to earnings, which is probably not even all month. All right, Kevin, you're up. Dude, would you please look at Wolf? Is it Wolf Speed? He wants Wolf Vision. WOLF is the ticker you put, Kev. What is the other one? WULF. That's TerraWolf. You're not looking at that. WOLF. What is this? Really? That's what I'm talking about. What do I want to look at this for? This thing got shot to death. I think this is small cap, man. Yeah, $1 billion market cap. You're on the edge of what I can look at. Cutting edge silicon carbide molecule boost clean energy capacity. I don't know enough about this. Is this like it's so undervalued? Wait, one guy says trash, one guy says undervalued. Am I looking at the right one? I think I'm looking at the right one. I don't know what these are. Like what chipsets? Kind of silicon carbide module. Whose capacity? I think that's the biggest one. Whose capacity? If they're boosting capacity for people's companies that aren't growing, it is not going to matter. Mohawk was like, that was an old company. I gotta look into this. MOSFETs. I don't know what these modules go into. Used in EVs. Okay. So then we want to see who are our customers. These events, investors. You want to find out who their customers are. Hey, please stop it. Sleep mode activated. Yes. Oh, built a new habit. I don't know. This one is you need to find out who their customers are, and then you can see like, okay, well, are their customers really doing well? Are the customers buying more? And look at it from that perspective, because they could have a great technology, but nobody is buying it, or like they're selling it to Lucid, who is a dying EV. I think that's your biggest concern, right? Or if they're selling it to, let's say, Rivian, and Rivian's like cutting them out of the supply chain, who knows? But yeah, we'll see. The stock is not bullish, Kevin. That's what I could say. You can have good fundamental story, but the stock is not. Well, look at even TradingView says sell. So they just lost. So they went. So here's their earnings. So from an EPS perspective, that's kind of like your concern, right? So their estimate to be losing more and more money. Yeah. So their earnings per share are negative, and is growing negatively. So they might be, look, even if they're making, this is the Rivian story, even if they're making more revenue, but they're losing more money on the revenue that they're making, is not going to be a good stock. Yeah, so revenue projections up, but if the losses on that revenue are also projected up, is no bueno. And I think that's the problem that you're running into. So you need to be on the, is there, it's the burn rate, right? So Rivian can go get shellacked because the burn rate is too high. And that was the thing with Rivian, right? So Rivian, their whole thing right now, so this trade is done, is all about, can they get to profitability? And the problem, same thing. So forecast for Rivian is still negative, but and then this last one, so reported negative 1.2, I think that's in the billions, and then 1.26. So they were supposed to go other direction. They were supposed to lose less last quarter, and they lost just a teeny slightly bit more. And that's the problem. This is next quarter, the quarter after. And here's where the street's problem is. The street is not thinking that they're going to flip this to positive. Revenue is absolutely projected to go higher. But if they're not, if they're losing money on that higher revenue, the street doesn't like it from a stock perspective. And that's the problem. So this street is basically saying, hey, I don't know. But this is Rivian right at this critical order block here. It's technically is a retest of this head and shoulders breakout when they got to the VW injection. Here's that gap up, full gap filled today. So that's why I took my shot, just because it's like this retest. So we'll see. It doesn't have to go higher right away. It's clearly it tried to, but it's not holding this bounce. We'll see. We shall see. All right, let's go. Moving on. Let's buy Mavis moguls. Bouncy. Yeah. The moguls. If you don't know the Mavis moguls, it's when you have a stock that has it's like moguls. Boom, boom, bounce up, bounce down, bounce up, bounce down. Let me see. Toast for leaps. Oh, Edward, you crack me up. TOST. People like this one. Oh, the chart looks good. This chart is constructive. It's constructive. I have to know the valuation metrics here. I don't really know where. That's a big earnings beat. Those look good. Let me see. I don't think it has a lot of volume in the options, so I don't typically look at this. 4,300 calls to 851 puts. Yeah, sure. They're not buying a lot of time, man. December 34s. That's a crazy one. Well, is it that crazy? No, it's not. December 34 for your toast. December monthly calls, single trader lot at 100 for $80 a piece. Earnings on when? Earnings November 5th. So that's through earnings. It's not a leap. 34 calls makes sense though. I'll say that. They got them at $80 a piece. That's right into here. I don't hate that. All right. We'll take a look at Adobe, and then we got a couple more, and we'll head on. So Adobe, big earnings fail right into a key level right here, and I think we're right back to it, right? So here's your box Adobe's in. I think you could take this for a shot. My only thing is this Adobe is very spready. So today looks good. Today is the day. So you're over this pivot. Let's call it this pivot right there. 525. So that was a key pivot to hold your breakout level is essentially what it's bouncing off of right now. Right in here. That 526-ish level was the key one. So this really gets going over 543, but I think for now you could probably target 536. So that's like $5. You have to get a contract that makes that make sense. And usually they're pretty expensive. Ivy is not expensive today, but weeklies, there's a lot of time value in this. Yeah, so 530s, because you're going 536. 530s are about $500 a piece. 535s are $350. That's kind of like your target. Adobe contracts, I'll tell you, they're pretty hard to make a lot of money on. 550s for October monthlies, that's up in here. But I think this 550, this is the box, so you can get into 550s, I think, on Adobe. And then I'm just going to take from this here to here. Yeah, 556 is right into that, 556 and change. I don't know that it makes a full recovery, but by the time it gets into here, so let's say you do this little chop fest, you get here, come back down, you'll probably play a little bit with this level and eventually get up, and you might have some crazy intraday pops like this, and it'll be really choppy. So you got to play it like that, because that's kind of like buy at the close at the open kind of setup, a couple times back to back to back. Coin ads today only if it closes over that level. If you want to, I got pretty much most of my position on anyway, so it looks like it's going to close over. I think David, Daniel, I would probably day trade this in addition to what I have, quite frankly. JB wants KRE regionals. This one, little pullback today. Yeah, but it's right to this fair value. I think you're long. I think you're long, KRE, man. I am long. You know that. Let's just see. And if you're not, you got to wait till 55. So that's 55 is a full-blown retest. You should get to this upper area 63s next. But yeah, it's in an area where it likes to defend quite a bit. It's still choppy. Let's take this. Okay. So 56 is just under 56. Looks decent. So if this is no such thing as a triple top, it's the next one. Whoop. And there we go. Right? 1, 2, 3. Fourth one is the charm. Not today, but the next time it takes a shot at it, maybe it's tomorrow, maybe it's the day after, maybe it's Friday, who knows? But the next time it takes a shot at that level, she should break. I think we're getting close towards the end here. Nick, did you want PayPal and SoFi? I don't know. Hood, we'll take a look at Hood. Hood's got the Legend Awakens. We are chopping. So 1, 2, 3, same thing, right? This is an extension, by the way, from this pullback. This is a just small little extension. Extension meaning like from here to here. If I took this and kind of duplicated it, right here is about the 50% mark of that consolidation range. So that's where we're sitting. I want to see it really extend beyond 2350, and then we can hit this 2450. Or to me, I'm just going to stay long what I have. I've already trimmed my a lot of my position or half of it on the medium term options, like December or January options. Sorry. But I think we get to that 2343 again, and I'd like to see us actually continue on to 25 and be in the money. I don't really want to take this fully down until it's 27, but at this point I have to take the risk off the table, just because we're at a pretty critical juncture here. So 22, 23 bucks. This is where it stalled out before, and it took a big shellacking right around the same time. So we do have that, I think it's October 16th event. That should be pretty good. It's holding right now, but just be aware. You want to be somewhat neutral, long, but like not. I'm long, but I'm not overly exposed long. Does that make sense? Like I'm regular weighted long. I've already taken my principal out. She can kind of do what she wants to do. I'm not actually intending to add. I'll just keep it with what it is on this one, but it looks constructive. Do I care so much about the No, not really. Scott wants to look at Humana. I don't know. Is insurance doing good? This is not look good, man. I don't ever trade this, but this still looks like consolidation, but I think you could buy it. I think you could buy it. I don't know why they got hit so hard. What was that? What was up there? I don't know. This is an area though that it should bounce from. Right in here. Weekly chart's not horrible. Fudbucker, do you see our PWR? Quanta, baby, all-time highs again. Come on. I love this stock. Sweet baby Mavis. Daniel, let's take a look at Meta because we do have that conference coming up. Look at that. So Meta investor relations. So I want to take a look at this, find out when the keynote is for the Connect event. July 31st. You know what? Meta Connect 2024. 25th. Wednesday. Look at, you see the little streaming Zuck? Look at, they're going to go over. Oh, man. Keynotes, developer. I don't really want to register. When is the keynote? So this is the developer event. Let's see if I register. No, it's not giving me. But it's a catalyst. We got to find out when the keynote is. All right, 1 p.m. Eastern, 10 a.m. Pacific, Thursday, September 26th. All right, Wednesday, the 25th. Headlined by, okay, so 10 a.m. Pacific on Wednesday. That's the keynote. This is all-time highs. What are we gonna do? What are we gonna do? So this channel is out. You're in it. What I'm gonna do on this is I'm gonna take just a fib and grab an extension. I'm just gonna grab this stuff. I'm just gonna take this general area. These like triple bottoms. Ooh. Okay. So you're at a 50% extension. 611 is the full extension. That's essentially taking from that all-time high breakout here to there. Is that right? Oh no. I took from here. Let's say if I took it from here. You're there. It's 612 is what it is. Let's just go a little bit more granular and go from this last one to this one. Yeah, just under 600. 590s. Gonna look open interest. Hello. 11,500 volume on the 600s for Friday's expiration. Okay. That's what they're looking at. 580s going for 280. Not horrible. But that's your extension. So just 592. 592 is it, right? And you want to see it really basically breaking over today's high. Until then, you're really just pulling back. A crazy pullback would be to 544. Is there volume on the short side? No. There's not going to be any puts coming out here with this event coming just around the corner. So, I mean, I'd stay long, biased, quite frankly. And even on this little, extension. So just this right here, you're looking at, this is Thursday's high, then Friday, defending Thursday's high. So 560, I'd call it, like 559 right in here. As long as you're holding over this, then you just want to see that series of higher lows. And then eventually into that 592 area. And that to me looks like a 580 call. But I do like that. Netflix haven't handled. Netflix actually look good. I'm gonna call this pretty soon, guys. We got a lot of setups. Netflix, yeah, I see it. It's possible. Give it another shot. This one's kind of choppy. She likes Netflix, loves her Fridays. So 7-Eleven, over 7-Eleven on Netflix. We're going. Man, what a crazy stock. This thing actually really good, like performing stock. Hello, Joshua. Dead zone. So we're just kind of like looking at the swings right now. Bulk wants Uber. The Uber looks like it wants to continue. I would wait on Uber. Every time it looks like this, you're like, you get shellacked. Quite frankly, like every time. So just be cautious on Uber. This looks like more consolidation. It's going to come to a head pretty soon, probably towards the end of the week. But that I don't want to get stuck in a sideways chop on Uber. So not this week on Uber. Unless you're really breaking out. Schaffner Media. What's it? Nike, dude. What a snipe, dude. Oh, Nike looks good. Chris with the good one. I like this. 85. I was always looking for 95. So we got to 90, right? From this low 70s to 90. This, even just this right over here, that's a good gain on the stock, like 25. But if you get to 95, 30% gain, I think you're solid. This is definite turnaround story. That's a pretty solid retest here. After the headline, let's take a look at this chain. I want to be long the consumer. I want to be long the consumer right now. 36,000 calls, 38,000 puts. It's kind of neutral. Kind of neutral. What is this? 87 calls. I see a lot of 87 calls. Short dated. I don't know what somebody's doing here. What the hell? They're going crazy. Full blown turnaround. There's someone throwing some lottos out there. What? Am I looking at that right? December 2026. What the fuck? Dude, Lotto. Someone sent December 2026 155 calls, 300 lot purchase at $2.05. It's about there right now. That's the highest strike all the way out there. I don't know if they bought or sold them. Like they bought them. That's crazy. But that's like 2 years out. Honestly, I don't mind that. But if you get a turnaround, let's take a look at the weekly. This is going to get interesting. So this 71 area came from right here and like this little retest right in here. You got a higher low. You got a higher high, higher low for sure. This is the key pivot, $90, right? So in this $90 area, I think you can get a little choppy. But this is the makings of a big time turnaround potential. Oh yeah, this is that center line. It's almost like this one. These all look like broken. Not quite. Not quite. So I want to see it push over this. So if we get over 88, then I think you really start to fill this and you're looking at the hundreds, quite frankly, just to this channel, right? So like if you get this, but it's this breach that I want to see, something like that. And then I would take it like this. So I want to see that breach and then hold right on this. So I'm taking these tops right here from June. That's my center line. And just kind of go into the top of the channel, which is going to be really like 102. This is like January's. Let's see. Jan 25s. Jan 25, $100 calls are going for $2 a piece. I mean, at that point, I almost like am fine with the leaps. Oh. Okay. June 2025, $100 calls. 1,299 gone out today. That's the active contract. I don't hate that at all. Then if you really get a breakout. Yeah, I like that one. I would look to build into something like that, though. I do like that. Yeah, PWR beast mode for sure. Did meta. Real VC. We're gonna say we'll save SMCI till the. Oh God. I would rather save S. Oh, that's why. The only reason I'm looking at this because you're in the server and I know that you're there. Wait. It's not there yet. Does he want it short? I don't know. He's still in the box. It's in the box. SNCI is not out of the box. That's what you got to be careful of. You get these little pops on some of these, like an Adobe or something like that, and then you get a boom, quick pullback. So you got to be fast on the trigger. And sometimes they're too spready to be efficient. I'd hold. We'll wait. We'll trade this one Friday for sure. Mandy, I will take a look at this. I'm interested in the. Oh, is Tom Crown around? No, I forgot to send him a link. Oh, dude, and I can't believe you guys didn't give me on Tesla. What the hell? How do I not have any requests for Tesla? This looks like consolidation. Andy. I don't know. So this is where I'm at. Like, if we're going to like full-blown Goldilocks, and then you know, we've been pretty defensive. I kind of feel like these defensive names might get faded and go back long into tech, which is why I was looking at like the CRM or the IGV CRM here holding. We'll see. IGV is that software sector. Look, this is that software sector. Daily. Guys. I mean, thank you, Palantir. The big holding. But this software sector, this is a big fat cup and handle. Tell me I'm wrong, right? Like, I'm not wrong. But anyways, like, here's your cup. Here's your handle. Steaming. We'll see where she goes. Love my art skills. It's amazing. But this is like a key setup right now. This chart right here. CRM, I believe, is like one of the largest, if not the largest, holding in that sector. And we've tried to get back through. This earnings gap is filled. This could be a big reversal if it happens. Dreamforce, baby. We'll see. We'll see. Not ready yet. Which takes me to snow. Guys. Am I gonna go long Bucky? Stop it. Am I gonna go long Bucky the Winter Soldier? Cause what the hell? What? Oh. If you go along here, you're gonna get shellacked. I just know it. Look, if Bucky closes over, she's so close. He. 113. Bucky. This looks like a reversal in the making, though, I gotta say. At least from a chart perspective. Where does it go? I mean, 120s. PTSD from Bucky, man. No. She's melting. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It's like, so if Bucky's melting right now, you don't want to go long Bucky right here, right now, because look, you're about to get shellacked if you did right here, right now. That's no good. And you get shellacked to 110. So 110 is a better entry on Bucky, the Winter Soldier. Something like that, right? Honestly. And then you would have room to like chill. But if you didn't grab it long out of the gate this morning, I mean, look, this looks constructive. Whatever, my personal feelings aside, right? I can do that. I need a higher high though, which we don't have. We just have equal lows, no higher highs. Logs off. Yeah. ZS, that's interesting. It's not super liquid. How about we look at Palo Alto? ZS is not a good trader. How about Palo Alto? Stuck. Damn. I'm all stuck. We'll see. This is what Miss Cleo said. A lot of stuff is setting up, but not really ready. It looks good, but it's setting up. Like one more little thing like that. So like the setup is into here. Like 330s, 338. Not like I want to go along this right now, but this little order block, that's interesting. And then you'd look for 360s to hit and probably breach. Yeah, exactly. Look, you're chiming in. Is Google short? Yeah. That was a level. She's waiting. Look, man, I want to take her big short. I don't know, big short, $5, but I don't want to take. It's like Bucky. Google's at a spot where Bucky is right now. If I take her short here now, I could get shellacked, and she could just bink right into my face. I do like this CCJ stuff. Like, what is the Sprock Uranium? Did we talk about that? URA. You look at this. This is the uranium situation. It was like Microsoft doing a deal with somebody to open up like a nuclear facility, an old nuclear facility that had like a huge meltdown. Bull case is revived. Was it NNE? NNE has one of the plants that has yet to be reopened. Super speculative. URA. Yeah, you guys. I swear these charts look good. Yeah, these charts look good. I don't know what to tell you. CCJ. Okay, hello. Super spec. I don't know this one at all. Look at this move, though. Telling you, this random uranium. I've never been a uranium bull. You guys know that. But even this is like, look at that. Just saying, it looks is Sam Altman's. Really? Yeah. This is the list right there. CCJ, UUU, UEC. And then the URA if you want to do the blanket. UEC. Yeah, I mean, look, this stuff looks good, but it's all right into like pretty critical resistance. I would watch this. I think that's going to be interesting. I don't think this is going to be a short-term trade either. I feel like it's just going to be one where it's like slow chop. So wait for red days. But yeah, I'm about to jump on this uranium trade, man. I don't know what to say. Dropping in nuclear engineers. Yeah, I honestly, I don't think this is going to go away. I think that this is kind of like a revival of that old uranium trade. So I mean, these are big moves. The stuff gets squeezy. Some of these charts, just saying, look at this. I mean, this looks like my GDX at 20. This is a long term. Whole sector. Yeah. Let's just see. URA. Ooh. Ooh. They're active, guys. The whole sector ETF URA, 12,400 calls to 2,300 puts. Largest orders. not huge. November 24th or November 15th for both these 29 calls and 31 calls. Looks like they bought both. They could be doing a spread. 29 to 31 is like, it's not my style spread, but yeah. This looks crazy. Look, this is just going. Oh no, I might swing this. Take me a lotto on those 31s. You're gonna run right into resistance. Dink. Right there. And then your target is, yeah, right in here. Your turn. I like those 31s. He's excited. Yeah, I know you've been I know you've been on this. Oh, you guys are all on it. I don't know. Well, you guys might have you are a $19 average. Yeah, I know. You guys have been talking about this for a while. Slow grind. Got to give it to you. But I think this is I think this is a net new use case, or like revitalized bull case for sure. All right. Let me go Tesla, because I need to look at this. So Tesla, we are right into a huge deal here, right? So long-term trend, and then we're going to cut it, right? So the weekly, if you guys look at my timeline, weekly, clear. We're right into the next level here. Super important right here, right now. This is a session gap that we're filling right into this. So the 250, that's the level, right? I have, when I talked to Amit last week, I think that this next one should actually push us through, right? So I think 290s are in. I think 290s in play, boys and girls. 289.53 right there, I think is in play. I think it can get a little choppy from here. I have a trade on that targets that level right now. But I think that this week becomes this consolidation area. I don't think it happens to 290 like this week, but Tesla 2 days at $15 a day, easy day, right? It could totally do that. So I have a skip strike butterfly targeting that 270, 290 area. I'm already double on it, so it's all good. Like we are right into this major overhead supply, but this is exciting. It's a big level for Tessie. The Tesla bulls are possibly getting it, but don't get too excited because we're not quite there yet. We got two levels. 260 is the next one on deck. But again, as long as we're holding this, I think this is a big deal. I think you focus here because even if this ETFs like this S&P Qs all go choppity chop sideways, whatever, Tesla is going to do Tesla. So we have two things. We have 1010 on deck. So that's 2 weeks. Is it 2 weeks? Less than 2 weeks away. It's a big deal. So yeah, it's exactly 2 weeks away. This is the move. This is it. This is the one. This is 2 weeks ahead of the event. You're in it, right? I don't want to go beyond October 16th. These are really expensive. I think October 11th is as far as I really need to go on Tesla. Just because, or I'm sorry, 4th, because October 4th is what I have. That's actually going to capture the run up into. If you want to go beyond, you can, but just know you're paying up for that event volatility. And look at this. They are targeting bingo, bango, bongo. 28,423 volume calls on October 11th, $260 calls. Those are very expensive. They're slightly overpriced, but I will say justifiably so. October 25th, 13,000 volume on the 300 calls. Somebody's bullish. November, pretty light. Again, targeting that 300 strike. December, 4,000 volume, targeting that 300 strike. Yep. January, 3,500 volume, targeting that 300 strike. So guys, that's where we're going. That's where the options model says, or options chain is saying that we're going to go. I say you undercut that 300 just slightly, but we fill, boom, right into here. And this becomes the next area. And hopefully we're talking about Tesla next time at 270 support, right? So ideally, that's what we'll be looking at. But anyways, from here to then, I think we're on our way. It's a good day to be a Tesla investor and trader, man. I love this. Micron, no, we're gonna skip Micron just because it has earnings. But all right, do we do one more? Someone's asking AMD. I think AMD. Yeah, no, nothing burger. Still chop zone. I guess if you want to get a little bit over 160, not super interesting to me, just because this large consolidation here. But anyways, Tesla. She's on the move. Tesla's on the move, boys and girls. On the move. What a day. All right. I'm going to call it there. I will see you out there. Holy crap. If this goes down, man, I think my focus this week is day trading Tesla. Look at this. 40. What? Oh my God. 57,226 volume on this Friday's $260 calls against 44,500 open interest. Those are trading at 225. You didn't hear it from me. All right, boys and girls. Pavel Dell. Yeah. Oh shit, J Roy. You know what? You guys killing me. We'll have to. Not CRM. CMG. CMG was bouncing. I do want to take a look. Oop. You're right there. Almost. Stay long, be long. Not quite breakout time. Stay long, be long. Dell, same story. Consolidation over, large trend. Let this just chillax. Don't take any trades on this. Stay long, be long. Equity, Dell, not options. She can pull back a little bit for a better entry. All right, boys and girls, that's it. We're going to call it. I love you all. Appreciate your support. Adios.